Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is summer and I don't know about you, but I like to swap out the wreath that I put on my front door seasonally. So it's time to do that. This is the wreath that I had on my door for spring. It looks like this. It's actually a grapevine wreath. I bought this wreath I think I bought it at Michael's, but I added some other greenery to it. I added this ribbon. I added this metal welcome here. This I actually got at the dollar store. So, you know, you don't have to make the whole thing yourself. Sometimes if you get a wreath at a good price and just make some adjustments, you can make it the way you want it to be. So I really like this one. And like I said, this is the one I had for spring. And now I'm gonna swap to summer. I made this one. This is actually the one I'm gonna show you how to make today. It's really bright and summery, I think. But it's different than this one. This one was a grapevine wreath. This one's actually wire in the back here, and I'm gonna show you how to attach this. This was actually a garland that I made into a wreath. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. But before I do, let me give you a little tip on how to store wreaths. This is a bag, just a canvas bag that I bought at an after Christmas sale. Of course, it's red and green. It was just a few dollars, but it could hold all three of these wreaths. So it's a pretty big size. It has a fall wreath in it right now. I actually have two of these bags because I have a lot of wreaths, and it has a handle. So what I do is I hang these on a hook in my garage, and that way it doesn't, you know, if you put them in a plastic bin, which is what I used to do, they get really mashed and misshapen. Where this doesn't do this, it has a little more room for them to spread out, but at least it really blocks the dust. They stay clean in this bag. And so I would just encourage you to try to find one of these. I don't know if they just sell these during the holidays, but look for this and see if you can find one of these if you also have a lot of wreaths to store. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you how to make this summer wreath. I bought most of my supplies for this project at Joann's. These garlands are on sale all the time, and I needed two to make my wreath. I also got the wire frame that I'll be attaching the garland to there. And you can buy pre-made bows, but I'm going to show you how to make a bow like this. The only other supplies you'll need for this are zip ties. I got this bag at the dollar store, some scissors, and also some wire. For the bow, like always, I buy my ribbon on sale, so this was an after Halloween package of ribbon. I make these bows all the time. I use this black and white, these bows for my Christmas decorations also. To start, what I did is I actually cut this garland into several pieces. It's just so much easier to work with when it's not one big long 5.5 feet. So cut them into several pieces. You want some of them to be smaller than others because we're actually going to add 3 layers to this wire frame: an inside, a middle, and an outside. So the first thing I'm going to do is use the little hook that is on the end of the garland and attach it to the wire frame. We're going to start by doing the inside layer of the wreath, and we want the piece of garland that we use to be a little longer than that circumference so that it will have some overlap. So you can see here on the back, when you turn the wreath over, that overlap is what we're going to connect with the first zip tie. So we connect both pieces of the garland and that layer of wire from the frame. So you want to be sure that as you're now attaching zip ties along the sides, that you just pull the wreath next to the wire and attach the zip tie. I think I used maybe 24 zip ties total for this project. Next, we're going to move to the outside layer because we want to be sure that we've got that covered, and then we'll do the middle layer last so that it has a little height there in the center. So same thing, now you're going to use the longest piece of the garland that you have. I did overlap it, but there was a space that didn't have a lot of the tulips there, so I added a piece of a smaller piece of the garland there, and I'm just attaching all 3 layers to the wire. Now we're going to go back and fill in the center. The reason I do that last is I like that it gives a little height and it sets up a little higher if you do the center part last. So I'm just pushing the tulips out of the way from the inner layer and the outer layer and tucking it inside, and then attaching the zip ties just like we did on the others. Every once in a while, turn it upside down. It will show you where you've missed a zip tie here and there, and that will help you secure it more completely. Remember, everything is just attached by wire, so even with the flowers, if you feel like it's in the wrong place, just move it around and tuck it in and put it where you think it looks best. Some of the tulips will fall off as you're going along, but they're not real tulips, so you can reattach them. Just find the little spot where the tulip fell off and just poke it back on. I also, for some of them, I just didn't even bother to try to find where they were. I just used some extra wire and just attached those tulips with wire. And last, let me show you how to make a simple bow with a wire ribbon. So what you're going to do, I used this ribbon before, so that's why it's already cut on the end. But you move up about, 6 or 8 inches. That's going to be your tail. It really depends on how long you want the tail. But all you're going to do is just pinch it in the center, continue to make loops on the left side and then the right, and you're just holding it in the center together as you work. If you let go of it, it would just all fall down at this point. But once you have 3 loops on both sides, you basically have your bow. So what you're going to attach it with is a wire. You can, for the center of your bow, you can just use the extra ribbon you have by wrapping it around, or you can use a separate piece. Since I have that separate piece, I'm going to use that to create the center of my bow. But before I do, that part I've been holding on to, I need to secure it with a wire. Sometimes I've used even just bread ties as the wire for a center of a bow if I didn't have any wire. Either one will work. But just once you've done that, now you take your little extra piece, which is about 6 inches, and you can attach it to the center. This you could either tie in a knot, or you just twist it around and then use the wire again to secure it. So just twist the wire around that little extra piece, and then you have your bow. Since, like I said, this ribbon is wired, it's really easy to manipulate it to look how you want it to look. You just pull it apart, straighten it where it's crooked, and just keep working with it until it looks like how you want it to look. Then you have your bow. If you didn't get your tails the same length like I didn't here, just trim off the end. They don't have to be exactly the same length, but you want them to be close. So just trim the edge. If you trim it at an angle, it gives that cute little V on the end of the bow. All right, last step is to attach the bow to the wreath. So I just turn it around, see if I can find the spot that seems to be a little empty to attach the bow there. And then I just do the same thing we did before, just use another zip tie to attach the bow to the wreath. I put the bow on the inside of that circle, not the outside, just so it has something to sit on, like it's actually sitting on the flowers. All right, out with the old, in with the new. Now I have a screen door on my front door, so I'm going to give you a little tip here in how to attach your wreath to the door. So what I use is just a paper clip that I have folded in half so it's lengthwise. I just put one side of the clip through my wire frame. It's not a very heavy wreath, so it holds perfectly, and then I just put the other side around my door. Then, as always, step back, take a look, do some zhuzhing, move some flowers around, puff up your ribbon a little bit until you get it the way you want it to look. And now we're done. I love this wreath. It just makes me smile every time I look at it. It just reminds me of summer. So I hope you make a wreath for your front door as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.